Have you ever lined up what you felt like was the perfect bird shot only to check it afterwards and realize those bright feathers are completely blown out? Yeah, it happens to all of us. And today we're going to fix that and go from this to this. But the solution isn't some magic number or one secret exposure setting, because it all depends on your lighting, the color and brightness of your subject, and even the mood you want to create. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through what I've learned after years of photographing birds and all kinds of lighting. And I'm going to show you how to keep detail in both the bright and dark areas of your image. Let's get started. Hey there, welcome back. And if you're new here, my name's Rob, and I appreciate you checking out this video. So when you're starting out, exposure can feel like there's one right way to do it and everything else is wrong. But that's not really how it works. Exposure is situational. There's theory, and then there's real-world shooting. Here's what you need to know. In photography, lighting, in my opinion, is the most important element in every photo. And being ready to adapt to a given lighting situation will help you get the best photos possible. To do that, you need to understand your camera's exposure settings, and just as important, what your camera's capable of. You might be asking yourself, okay then, what are these settings? Let me show you right here. This is what's worked for me. I shoot in full manual mode and sometimes have it set to auto ISO depending on the scene. I also have my camera set to evaluative metering and have it set to grab focus on the eye. These settings combined work well for birds in flight because they work together in unison with the focus point to keep a consistent exposure as the bird flies across changing light. So when I get out to a location, the first thing I'm doing is reading the light. Ideally, I want the light behind me hitting the bird, except for if I'm going for that cool-looking backlit shot. Then I'll determine if the bird is one I want to photograph in flight, gliding across the water, or stationary on a perch. This is where the exposure triangle comes in. If it's a bird in flight, I'll need a faster shutter speed to freeze the action, and a slower shutter speed for a perched bird. Then I can set my ISO accordingly, trying to keep it on a lower number when possible. Then I may change my aperture depending on the scene and what needs to be in focus. Next, I'll look through the electronic viewfinder and eyeball the scene. What I'm looking for here is how the exposure looks on the bird's feathers. Since the bird is the subject of the photograph, I want to be sure the overall exposure is balanced for the dark and bright areas on the bird. I don't trust the meter here at the bottom much, but it'll get you close. The rule of thumb I use here is it's better to have the dark elements underexposed than to have the bright areas blown out. At this point, I'll determine whether to expose to the right or expose to the left, depending on the bright and dark areas in the scene. When doing this, it's a good idea to have your histogram activated to assure you're keeping the exposure from touching the sides. The histogram's a good way to visualize your exposure. If it touches the right, you'll have blown out areas, and if it touches the left, you'll have pure black underexposed areas. The problem is if there's any blown out areas or pure black areas, those details can't be recovered. This is also the stage where you can check your zebras or your blinkies. Okay, so personally, I rarely use exposure compensation because I can manually dial in settings really quick since I'm completely familiar with what settings I need for the photo. I also shoot in RAW, which gives me that extra flexibility during post-processing if needed. And this is possible because RAW files have more dynamic range than JPEG files. Basically what that means is there's more tonal range data between the dark and light areas in a RAW file than there is in a JPEG file. Just remember, the lower your ISO, the more dynamic range there is in the final photo. Now, Sandy and I like to photograph Osprey. This is a perfect example for what I'm talking about here, because these birds have dark brown feathers and bright white feathers, which makes them challenging to photograph. Let's take a look at a couple Osprey photos to put this all in perspective. In these examples, you'll notice just how tricky exposure can be with a bird like an osprey. The contrast between the bright white feathers and deep brown feathers can easily fool your camera in auto mode. In this first image, the highlights are pushed too far, and you can see this blown out area right here, and this is where we start to lose details in the whites. But in the second photo, the exposure's dialed in to protect those brighter areas while still keeping enough detail in the shadows. That balance is exactly what you're aiming for in the field, making sure your subject retains texture and detail across the entire range of tones, even with these challenging lighting conditions. And you're much better to move to a position where you can get a better background like shown here when possible. Alright, so it's a good idea to avoid shooting in extreme high contrast situations, and there's no perfect exposure setting for bird photography. It's all about reading the light, understanding the colors of your subject, and making quick adjustments in the moment. Focus on protecting the highlights, keep an eye on your histogram, and remember, it's always better to be a little underexposed in the dark areas of the photo rather than blowing out the highlights. The more you practice this, the faster it becomes second nature, and that's when you'll start nailing evenly exposed shots more consistently, avoiding those blown out highlights. So let us know your thoughts about this topic in the comments. How do you avoid blowing out highlights? Do you use exposure compensation, or do you shoot manual for full control of your settings for exposure? If you found this helpful, hit that like button and consider subscribing for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.